Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha. Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivano Dari Gopi Janna. Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivano Dari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivano Dari Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivano Dari Yasodanandana Pratijana Ranjana Yasodanandana Pratijana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Tira Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivano Dari Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivano Dari Gopi Janna Vallabha Sodanandana Bhajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Tira Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jai Om Vishnu Pada Paramahansa Prabhu Jakacharya Asatar Satrashi Shimad His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhakti Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Ananta Kota Vaishnava Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Prem Sigaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Vaiti Giradhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Samakun Radhakun Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Shri Maya Purnab Dham Ki Jai Ganga Maya Ki Jai Jamuna Maya Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Somaveda Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Transcendental Book Distribution Ki Jai Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Gaur Premanandi. All glorious summer devotees. All glorious summer devotees. All glorious summer devotees. All glorious Shishi Guru and Shri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So this morning we're reading the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 30, text number 47. Tatra Vasista Ye Vriksha Bita Duhitaram Tara Ujarus Te Pachetobhya Upadishta Swayambhuva Tatra Vasishta Ye Vriksha Bita Duhitarang Tada Ujarus Te Pachetobhya Upadishta Swayambhuva Tatra Vasishta Ye Vriksha Bita Duhitarang Tada Ujarus Te Pachetobhya Upadishta Swayambhuva Tatra Vasishta Ye Vriksha Bita Duhitarang Tada Ujarus Te Pachetobhya Upadishta Swayambhuva Tatra Vasishta Ye Vriksha Bita Duhitarang Tada Ujarus Te Pachetobhya Upadishta Swayambhuva Tatra Vasishta Ye Vriksha Bita Duhitarang Tada Ujarus Te Pachetobhya Upadishta Swayambhuva Tatra there Avashishta remaining Ye which Vriksha trees Bita being afraid Duhitaram their daughter Tada at that time Ujuru delivered Te they Pachetobhya unto the Pachetas Upadishta being advised Swayambhuva Lord Brahma. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki. The remaining trees, being very much afraid of the Pachetas, immediately delivered their daughter at the advice of Lord Brahma. Purport. The daughter of the trees is referred to in text 13 of this chapter. This daughter was born of Kundu and Pramlocha, the society girl of Pramlocha. After giving birth to the child, immediately left for the heavenly kingdom. While the child was crying, the king of the moon took compassion upon her and saved her by putting his finger into her mouth. This child was cared for by the trees, and when she grew up, by the order of Lord Brahma, she was delivered to the Pachetas as their wife. The name of the girl was Marisa, as the next verse will explain. It was the predominating deity of the trees that delivered the daughter. In this connection, Srila Jiva Goswami Prabhupada states, Vriksha tad hishthar devata. The trees means the controlling deity of those trees. In Vedic literature, we find that there is a controlling deity of the water. Similarly, there is a controlling deity of the trees. Interesting, huh? The Prachetas were engaged in burning all the trees to ashes, and they considered the trees their enemies. To pacify the Prachetas, the predominant deity of the trees, under the advice of Lord Brahma, delivered the daughter Marisa, pacified them. You know, there's not much I could say about. Actually, there's nothing I could say about this verse or purport. It's beyond me. So we're going to go on to the next verse. Techa brahmana adhestan marisam uparye mere yasyam mahad avagyanad ajanyanjana yojana yonija. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. Following the order of Lord Brahma, all the Prachetas accepted the girl as their wife. From the womb of this girl, the son of Lord Brahma named Daksha took birth. Daksha had to take birth from the womb of Marisa due to his disobeying and disrespecting Lord Mahadev, Shiva. Consequently, he had to give up his body twice. It's interesting. He got the name Daksha twice. I guess the same personality also. Purport. In this connection, the word Mahad Avigyanat is significant. King Daksha was the son of Lord Brahma. Therefore, in a previous birth, he was a Brahmana. But because of his behaving like a non-Brahmana, a Brahmana, by insulting or disrespecting Lord Mahadev, his brother, he had to take birth within the semen of a Kshatriya. That is to say, he became the son of the Prachetas. Not only that, but because of his disrespecting Lord Shiva, he had to undergo the tribulation of taking birth from within the womb of a woman. In the Daksha Yagya arena, he was once killed by Lord Shiva's servant Virabhadra. Because that was not sufficient, he again took birth from the womb of Marisha. At the end of the Daksha Yagya and the disastrous incident there, Daksha offered his prayer to Lord Shiva. Although he had to give up his body and take birth from the womb of a woman impregnated by the semen of a Kshatriya, he received all opulence by the grace of Lord Shiva. These are the subtle laws of material nature. Unfortunately, people in this modern age do not know how these laws are working. Having no knowledge of the eternity of the spirit soul and its transmigration, the population of the present age is in the greatest ignorance. Because of this, it is said in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.1.10, Manda Sumanda Matayo Manda Bhagya Upadrutaha. The total population in this age of Kali Yuga is very bad, lazy, unfortunate, and disturbed by material conditions. Om Jnanatam-anandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshur Militam Jena Tasmai Sri Gare Nama Mukam Krotavachalang Pangun Lang Hayate Gare Yat Kripa Taraham Vande Shigurum Dinataranam Vancha Kalpatuyabhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. It's interesting that Daksha had really offended Lord Shiva. I mean, just terribly. But after he offered prayers to Lord Shiva, repenting his offense, then it's described here he got so much opulence because of the mercy of Lord Shiva. There's no envy. Yeah. Vaishnavaram Yathashambhu, the greatest Vaishnava. Yeah. Even he is offended by Daksha horribly. He offered prayers, beautiful prayers actually, and Lord Shiva awarded him with opulence. So this is in the Srimad Bhagavatam, it's stated, karmana daiva netrana, according to our own activities and the sanction of the Lord, everybody is getting a certain result. He was, Daksha was so offensive that he really upset his daughter, so much so that she gave up her body. And when Lord Shiva heard that, it was just like, all right, I got to teach these guys a lesson. And he did. Daksha got the head of a goat. Yeah. But he still had the same person was there, so he spoke out of imagine that, that's pretty heavy. He spoke out of a goat's head. So, yeah, we had to be careful about what we do. If we offend devotees, then Krishna's not pleased, and we get reactions. So, yeah, there's these subtle laws. Then there's the gross laws that we're all aware of, but then there's the subtle laws, the laws of Krishna, that we have to be careful. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Yam yam vapi smaram dhajam smaram bhava tajachiti kalevam tam tam aveta konti sadatad bhava bhavita. That whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body, that state he will attain without fail. So we're creating our next life by how we live this life. We're the architects of our future. Yeah. Just like we're worshiping the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But people throughout the world are worshiping the personality of Doghead. They're worshiping dogs. Yeah. It's unbelievable. Yeah. And our goal is to go back to Godhead. But people are so absorbed in dogs, what's their next life? Doghead. They get a dog. Doghead. Yeah. They get a dog body because of their infatuation with dogs. So many pets people have now. Cats, that's another thing. People have cats. Prabhupada says in one purport that dogs and cats should not be allowed in one's home. Now they have tigers, big tigers. I was checking it out on the website. Bengal tiger pets, just huge pets. Lions, pets, it's unbelievable. Sometimes they turn on their masters. Also, it's dangerous to have such a pet. Yeah. On Sankirtan, sometimes you see these people. They have rats as pets, yeah. And they become attached to their rats, yeah. Crawling around on their neck and stuff. They got a little leash on them, yeah. Yeah, Kali Yuga. Yeah, and they're very attached. They name their, rat pet, yeah, whole thing. So, better to be, snakes, snake pets, yeah, right, yeah, they have snake pets. What else? Oh yeah, hamsters, that's I used to have a hamster. Yeah. So people have these different pets and they become very attached to them. I mean, it's amazing. Like this thing about dogs, Like I have my sister, she had a dog and the dog died. Immediately they got to get another dog. Like you have to have a dog. It's like the American thing. You got to have a dog. You got to have a dog. How can you live without a dog? It's a strange culture we live in. So, no, better to focus our attention on Krishna, then we go back to Krishna. So we have to, as Prabhupada has many times said, that we have to train our mind to think of Krishna. Yato yato nishchalati manashchanchalam astram tatastato nyamyata atmanveya samdaya. From wherever the mind wanders due to its flickering and unsteady nature, one must bring it back. Got to bring it back under the control of the self. And yeah, it's amazing how much the mind wanders. I was speaking to one person yesterday. He was a very nice person. He on his phone, his ringtone was the Hare Krishna mantra. So he was an alcoholic, and he finally he got out of that, and he went on this what do they call it, 12-step program? It's all about God, actually. The whole 12-step, it's all about God. So he became very God conscious, hearing the Hare Krishna mantra. And he got a Bhagavad Gita yesterday. So he was saying that yeah, when he thinks of things, he just lets it go through its thing, And I said, no. When negative things enter your mind, reject. Replace it with good things. I explained how the Bhagavad Gita, it's all about the modes of nature. Things in the mode of ignorance, we reject, and replace that with things in goodness or pure goodness. Replace that with the Hare Krishna mantra. And because if you let these things in the mode of ignorance stay in your mind, it brings you down. It drags you down. He said, all right, very good, yeah. So this is, we have to learn how to train. We got to train the mind so it's always thinking of Krishna. Somehow always thinking of Krishna. And it's described, Prabhupada says in one purport, that the greatest loss is even a moment in which one is not thinking of Krishna. Just a moment. What to speak of so much other times. The greatest loss. So, yeah, got to keep on bringing the mind back to Krishna. And this helps us to grow spiritually, get purified. But just thinking of Krishna, we get purified. What is that? He says in the Bhagavad Gita that I am that which purifies. Krishna is so pure. Just think of Krishna and we get purified. Just have Krishna in your mind and the mind gets purified. So therefore you got to keep on bringing it back. Keep on bringing it back. Now here in this purport, Prabhupada mentions a very famous verse, this Manda Sumanda Matayo Manda Bhagayi Bhadrata. This explains that in this age of Kali, people are very lazy. Just like quite often I meet people on book distribution, and they're very fired up. They like the books. They're into spirit. They're on the journey. They're on the spiritual journey, and they live in SanDiego. And I invite them to the program here, and I'm thinking, oh, they're definitely going to come. No show. So of course they get distracted. There's a lot of distraction in Kali Yuga also. They may have that desire, but get distracted. So yeah, but people in general, they're very lazy spiritually. It's a world filled with a lot of lazy people spiritually. Yeah. Materially, no, quite active, but spiritually, quite lazy. So short-lived, lazy, misguided. A lot of misguided people. Just like before Srila Prabhupada came, so many Swamis had come. But they were all teaching Mayavad. Nobody taught about Krishna. But Prabhupada was just filled with Krishna. So Krishna was coming out so much. I looked it up on our database. How many times Krishna is there in Prabhupada's lectures and books? 260,000 times. That's over 250,000. I mean, Prabhupada was just so filled with Krishna, and it came out like anything. And I looked up God also, how many times Prabhupada used the word God. 60,000. Yeah. So Prabhupada was just filled with Krishna. And the other Swamis, they were amazed, because they wouldn't say anything about God, or they were just do your thing, nothing about. Although they knew about Krishna, but they wouldn't. So they were impressed that Prabhupada was speaking directly God consciousness, Krishna consciousness, and he was having such success. He was the most successful, and Prabhupada's moon is the only one that really lasted. So many of them just kind of dwindled out eventually. Some of them are still there a little bit, but we're still, of course, we're not as strong as we were when Prabhupada was here, but we're still there, still going out, Harinams, book distribution. Of course, there'll be more Harinams once this COVID thing ends. But yeah, this is the devotion of Srila Prabhupada. Therefore his name is Bhakti Vedanta. Bhakti, devotion for Krishna, and Vedanta, knowledge. As Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur said that if you have religion without knowledge, then it's just sentimental. You have knowledge without religion, then mental speculation. So Prabhupada had both, filled with so much devotion and knowledge. Yeah. So we also were trying to follow in the footsteps of Srila Prabhupada and give this knowledge out and beg for this bhakti, which is what is most needed. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur said the only lack in society is Krishna consciousness, bhakti. This is what is needed. So yeah, so there's so much misleading. Just like Amala Bhakta Maharaj, before he joined ISKCON, he was a Maharaj with another group, though. But most of these groups they're into greed, a lot of money. So with the group he was with, people had to pay a lot of money if they wanted to have any exchange with the swamis or get any help. They had to pay a lot of money. So there was one point he told me, Maharaj, that there was one student who didn't have any money but needed some help. So he was practically in tears, begging Maharaj, please help me. I need help, please help. She said, all right, no problem, no money, I'll help you. And eventually he just became disgusted because the whole thing was about money. But then he had gotten some books from, Prabhupada, so somebody had distributed, or I think someone actually brought some to his ashram. He had a whole building in New York City. So he started getting attracted. I think they gave him a CD also, or not a CD. Back then they had records. So he kind of became attracted to Krishna. And eventually he gave up the bogus Swami and took shelter of Prabhupada. He ended up in Los Angeles. And Prabhupada was there, and one of the devotees said, Prabhupada, we have one Bhakti here. He used to be a Swami with another yoga group. And Prabhupada said, oh, call him. I want to speak to him. So he went in there speaking to Prabhupada. So Prabhupada he asked him, so what did you learn from this Swami? And Amala Bhakta Maharaj said, I didn't learn anything from him. Nothing. And Prabhupada said, just see. Just see. Now he's a simple brahmachari. He's learning so much. Of course, now he's a sannyasi. But yeah, they don't teach you anything about the absolute truth. Just speculation. There's even one Swami who said, yeah, just do whatever you want. Drink, have illicit sex, just do whatever you want. If you're pleased, God is pleased. Such rascals. Yeah. such demons. And they're preaching this. You know, people are buying, oh, okay. You know, a lot of sense gratification. I'm pleased, God's pleased. That's great, because they're into it. They're into sense gratification. So yeah, such cheating. There's one instance where Prabhupada was at some city, I think in South India, and devotees found this newspaper clipping about this sannyasi that had taken the vow of silence. He had taken this vow. He'd already been on this vow for like 5 years. And Prabhupada said, oh, this is very good. And all these Mayavadis, they should all take this vow of silence. Because when they speak, it's all nonsense. Yeah? Very good. So, there was one of these bogus rascals. He claimed to be God, and he had a big following. But such a rascal. They'd have they throw the colors, holy, big festival, holy. So one person came to him with a pie, like he's going to offer a pie to him. Took the pie and put it in his face. So these people should be chastised. Yeah. Sometimes they were. But Srila Prabhupada, he just wanted to give Krishna. Yeah. There's one young Indian man, maybe early 20s. He got one of Prabhupada's books. And Prabhupada happened to be in this city. And the person who had gotten this book was told by the devotee who had given the book to him that there's this famous guru, he's going to give a talk that had a pandal program. So if you like, you could come, you could hear him speak. And he was a spiritual person. He said, okay, yeah, I'd like to go. So he got directions and found out where it was. It's a big pandal, and he's in the back, and he's listening to Prabhupada. And he's so impressed. He's talking about Lord Chaitanya. And he's just making a wonderful presentation of Krishna consciousness. And from hearing that lecture, he decided, this is my guru. Hearing the lecture once, this is my guru. He had been searching for a guru. So then after the lecture, he saw this devotee again that had given the book. And he said, my guru, he's going to give another lecture at one hall in a couple days. If you like, you can come. I said, oh yeah, I would like to. So he went to this hall, and in front of the hall there was an elderly man sitting in front of the building there. So he went to him and said, excuse me, do you know if this is where Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada will speak? And the man said, why? Oh, he's my guru. I'm going to take initiation from him. Why? Why do you want to take initiation from him? Because he's teaching the glories of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu like I've never heard. He said, oh. And who was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Oh, he's God. And the elderly gentleman said, he's not God, he's a servant. He's a servant of God. No. The young Indian man, no, he's God. No, he's a servant of God. No, he's God. No, he's a servant. Stop. Stop speaking, the young Indian man said to the elderly man. Stop. So then some devotees came and started paying obeisances to the elderly Indian man. And then he realized, That's Prabhupada. And then he said, oh, you're Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. And he paid a base and he says, please forgive me. And Prabhupada started laughing. He started laughing because nobody chastises Prabhupada. He was so happy to see that he had firm conviction that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is God. So Prabhupada was laughing. He said, no, it's okay. He was laughing and he pulled him in to his room. There. And then there were some devotees there, and Prabhupada still laughing. He told the devotees about this incident with this young Indian person. So this young man, he became Radha Govinda Maharaj. This is how he joined. And Radha Govinda Maharaj, oh my God, his classes were just like, devotees would come from all around India to hear him speak. He was empowered. I think he passed away, right? Yeah. But he was empowered. He only spoke Hindi and I think maybe one other language. He didn't speak English, right? So we couldn't hear his. But empowered preacher. So that's how he joined. So many people received this great mercy of Srila Prabhupada, of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And we want to give people the opportunity to come in contact more and more with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, with Srila Prabhupada. And in this way, people actually become wealthy. There's one statement Prabhupada says, actually it's in a I think it's in a verse in the Chaitanya Charitamrita that Sanatana Goswami, he was such a great devotee. He received so much mercy from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was a minister. He was a very wealthy person. But when he got the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he renounced all his wealth. He renounced all his wealth. And it's described that he accepted the youthful goddess of renunciation. The youthful goddess of renunciation. In other words, when one becomes renounced, one becomes very wealthy. Of course, not just renounced, but has a desire to serve Krishna. So Sanatana Goswami, he received the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in this way. So he became very wealthy. Rupa Goswami as well. He was another minister who gave it up. Gave up all his wealth, gave up everything. Living under a different tree every night in Vrindavan. They were homeless. And some of you may not know, but Vrindavan gets very cold at night. Very cold. And in the summer, very hot. But they were just living, writing, serving Krishna with this youthful goddess of renunciation. So Prabhupada, he liked to get chastised by this young man. And Krishna also, he likes to get chastised. Yeah. It's like so many people, they're offering prayers to Krishna. So many people are offering prayers. There's so many religious organizations. It's like the Muslims, they bow down 5 times a day. And I'm sure they offer prayers, and the Christians, they offer prayers. And so many prayers are being offered to God. And we offer so many prayers. So in all religious institutions, there's so many prayers that are being offered to God. But when one becomes very dear to God, to Krishna, then one can have an intimate relationship with God, where one is actually chastised by God. Just like there's one instance where, excuse me? No, where he gets chastised. Krishna gets chastised. Yeah, Krishna gets chastised by his devotee. Just like there's one instance where he wanted to see Radharani, but he had gone there late. And Radharani had before he had come, Radharani asked, well, where's Krishna? He was supposed to come. Oh, he's with another gopi, Chandravali. So then when Krishna finally came, Radharani said, tell the other gopis, tell him I don't want to see him. So when Krishna finally came, he couldn't go see Radharani. She was upset. So he liked that. He was being chastised. You know? So he likes that. And Mother Yasoda tied him up. Tied up God. How can you can't tie up God? But there's so much affection there. And Prabhupada, he was speaking about this, and just like kings also, kings, they get so much respect, but sometimes they'll have a jester. What was his name? Gopal Ban. So Gopal Ban, he came into the courtroom there, and the king asked him, say, hey Gopal, what's the difference between you and an ass? So he pulled out his measuring stick and measured 3 feet between him and the king. 3 feet. And everyone in there started cracking up. And the king also, he started laughing. He's a little witty, you know. So the king, you know, everybody's offering respect, and sometimes they would also wrestle. They would wrestle with it. Now the wrestler, he can probably tear the king apart, no problem, but he would, you know, play with him. So Krishna also, he would wrestle with the cowherd boys. And he takes pleasure in this. You know? So this is Krishna. He's all attractive. Yesterday I was distributing books, and this lady asked, what is that book there? Nectar Devotion. So I said, oh, these are the activities of God. You know, so many people have heard of God and they're serving God, but you don't hear of the activities of God. So I opened it up and I was showing. She's Hindu descent, so I was showing her the pictures. And you see, Krishna is stealing butter. God steals butter. He likes butter. She said, oh, that's cool. So they, you know, these activities of Krishna are so attractive, but nobody knows of the activities of God. So we have these wonderful activities of God. So Davida, he usually likes me to say something about book distribution. I've been editing this book, so it's pretty ecstatic. I'll tell you give you some previews of the book. There's one devotee, he was distributing books in Germany. What was his name? Varahamurti. Very nice devotee. And he wanted to distribute 100 books. 100 big books in a day. So he is up to 97. Good book distributor. But then this demon came and started breaking up all his sales. Anybody he would go to, he would tell him, don't take a book from him. He's with a sect. He's with a cult. Don't take a book from him. So he was thinking, oh, God, only 3 books to go, and I got this demon here. And he just wouldn't let him distribute any books. So there was another devotee there as well. So he saw this Mataji coming, devotee, and she's big. She used to work with the FBI in American in Atlanta, Georgia. So she saw this guy harassing Varahamurti, and she also heard from this other devotee that this demon's harassing him. So she went up to him. She's big Mataji, like 6 feet, you know, just huge. And she started pushing the guy around. What are you doing harassing? This is my friend here. He's doing some religious work. Don't harass my friend. She's pushing him around. He's like, he took off, right? Took off running. It's kind of embarrassing to get pushed around by a woman, you know. So he was able. He actually did 105 books, Varahamurti. So he said it's nice to have our Kshatriya Maharajas around sometimes. There's one devotee, Stanu. He's in Sofia, Bulgaria. Stanu, very nice devotee. He actually, the way he joined, he got a book from somebody, and he was so impressed that he decided to quit his job and join the movement. But he was actually had a very nice job. He was a manager at some printing company, and the boss just loved him. So he went up to the boss and said, "I'm sorry to tell you this, but I'm going to quit." He said, "What are you going to quit for? You want more money? I can give you more money." No, I joined the Hare Krishna movement, so I'm going to go out and try to help people in their spiritual lives. I'm going to distribute books. And he said, "Well, if you ever want a job again, please come back. I'll give you immediately." So it was nice, he's a very nice devotee, Stanu. So he was distributing sets by calling people up. So he called this, he had this number for Galia. This is Bulgaria, they had these unusual names. Yeah. So he called this this lady Galia, and she answered the phone, but it was a different Galia. He said, "Oh, you've been to our temple before?" "No." "You know Hare Krishna?" "No, never heard of it." "Oh, I got the wrong Galia." Different number, different person, same name. Amazing. Must be a common name there. So he said, "Well, you know, I have these." He started preaching to her. Krishna consciousness, just full on. And she said, "You know, I'm completely into this, yoga and meditation. I'm totally into this. You said you were going to bring some books to the other Galia? Well, can you bring them to me?" And she had a whole family, and other relatives that were into this. So she ordered 5 sets. just a cold call. Just you know, she didn't know anything. So he drove 200 kilometers. 200 kilometers to give these 5 sets to this lady. Pretty amazing, huh? Just Krishna. Yeah. Let's see if there's anything else. Yeah, I think that's it. Any question or comment? You're welcome. Tapas.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
I see there are 21 people watching on YouTube and 3 people on Zoom. Vijay Prabhu, Dhanavadi Mataji and Sudha Mataji. But I don't see any questions from them till now.
I think so.
Krishna Prabhu, thank you for sharing the wonderful book distribution stories and inspiring us. Hare Krishna, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you. Srila Prabhupada ki